Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Fathi from another video in your favorite course, Analytical SQL. Today we will have a lecture about the value functions, what is it and how to use it and why it's very important. And actually it's one of the most important functions in SQL. Let's see why and let's discuss that together. Let's go. Okay, what we will take today, introduction about value function, what is it, what do you mean by value function, and we will take the lead and lag function, an example on it, we will take the first and last and ninth video and when and how to use it. So, at the beginning, what is value function? Value functions, they are functions, help you to retrieve some specific row. So if you are standing on the current row and you want to get the previous row or the next row or the first value or last value or so on, it will help you to get a specific row without collapsing the data and just put it beside it. For example, if you are selecting data from a department and you want after each row it says you what is the lowest and what is the highest salary in this department, what is the previous salary of this employee, what is the next salary of this employee, and so on. You will use value function. And if you remember, we had some similar example in the subquery and group by, and we had to make it with subquery and group by, and it was very hard actually to make the joins and calculate it. But now we will calculate it with a really easy and simple syntax, and we will see it together right now. Okay, why we use value function? First, it's used to compare the current and the previous rows, and that's one of the most important in value functions, and has a lot of use cases as we will see later. To extract the first and last value for some specific partition, and this is very important to track trends. And of course, to improve the business intelligence and forecasting, which is expecting the future. For example, if you have a model, you can use in it lead and lag. And if you are using this model to check the model if it's working or not, so you will need to use the lead, for example, as we will see later. What is value function? Value functions are 5 easy and simple functions, as you can see here. The lag, which gets the previous row, and the use case for it to compare the current and last month's value. You can get, for example, the rate, the growth rate, and so on. The lead, which gets the next row in your data, so you can predict the future trends. And the first value, which fetches the first row in the window. The last value, which fetches the last row in the window. And the ninth can fetch some specific value, for example, the second, the third, the fourth, and so on. And let's complete the lead and lag. Let's start for it. Okay, the lead and lag. The first use case, of course, to get the growth rate by comparing the current and the previous row. Useful also for trend analysis, detecting changes, calculating the difference between rows. It helps a lot in finding sales growth, customer behavior pattern, for example, stock price changes, any change. Actually, you need legal lag. And without it, you will make a lot of joins, a lot of group buys, and it's very, very, very hard to get it without legal lag. Okay, and now the value functions. Syntax. Okay, now in lag, you put the field name which you want to make to get the previous of it, and then how many previous, for example, you want, which is the number. For example, if you put it 1 or leave it empty, it will get the previous one right away. If you put 2 or 3, it will get the pre-previous, pre-pre-previous, and so on. Default value, if it's a null, for example, and you want to put a value instead of it, of putting null, you can put default value over partition by, of course, any group you want, order by any field you want. And the lead, the same exactly, but the lag gets the previous one, and the lead gets the next one. That's an example. For example, lead here will get the next salary. So it will give you the next higher salary. But the lag will get you the previous salary. If you put the 1.0, don't put the 1 at all, it will work the same. Like here Adam got salary of 1,100, the next one was 1,250, the previous one was 250. But for Smith, he had no previous, so the previous one is null. If you put default value, for example, you can put, for example, 0 instead of null. So, the first and last value. The first and last value returns the first or last value in the partition you specify. It has two options. If you wanted to respect the null or ignore the null, you can put this. Respect the null means if the first value was null, it will put it null instead of putting it as a value. But ignore the nulls will exclude any nulls in the data. Example. You can get the lowest salary in each department. How? By first value. If you put the first value by salary and you don't want to any nulls, if you have a data of person, for example, that has no salary, you don't want to include it because you want to get the lowest salary over partition by the department number, order by salary. Here it will get the lowest salary in each department. I hope you got it. And it's very easy, just use a function, put the column, and get you the lowest salary. And here, for example, the department number 10 got the lowest salary 1,300, department number 20 got the lowest salary is 800, so it will have 800 in all of them. Okay, if you are talking about the last value, you can imagine that the default is unbounded preceding, which sees all the previous rows, and the current row, which sees the current row only. So, for this case, it will not seize the last value because it doesn't say unbounded following. So, using the last value, always you need to put the case of unbounded preceding and unbounded following to get you the last salary, and also for the ninth one, because for the first value, for example, it was seeing only itself, so the last value will be itself. So, okay, sorry. So when you are using the over for the last value, you must specify that the rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. If you don't specify this one, here would be the unbounded following. Here will be the highest interpolation, and here will be 2,450, and here will be 5,000. So it will not be correct. So don't forget, using last value, you must specify the rows to be unbounded preceding and unbounded following, and the same for the next one. If you want to get the second highest salary, for example, or the third or fifth or tenth, any number you want, you will use ninth. So ninth, well, you put the column here and you put the number you want to get. For example, 2, 3, 2 will get the number 2 of the rows. And here you partition by department, order by salary descending. So it will get the second highest salary because you ordered descending. Here we have a mistake that you must specify that is unbounded preceding and unbounded following, or it will get wrong data and wrong values. So don't forget, using the ninth, using the last value, you must specify this condition. And now we reach to the end of the video and the end of the theoretical part of the analytical SQL. Please follow and subscribe to wait for more parts about examples and more hands-on, more projects. See you in this video example. Bye.